Hello and welcome to the Unlisted Opinions YouTube channel. I just tried recording this video twice and realized I was not actually hitting the record button. So, this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it a little bit slower and just enjoy my time, enjoy my fucking moment, because I realize that most of the shit is going to get in the end of the video anyway. Let me cut in the intro here. Okay. Hello everybody. I am Mr. YouTuber, and I have a YouTube video for you guys. If you didn't know that, it's here, and we're gonna be watching Trump versus Biden in the recent debate. Apparently, according to Ben Shapiro, the last debate that I wasn't aware of that, but apparently this might be the last debate between the two, which would be really silly because holy fuck, the Democratic Party's campaign strategy is fucking abysmal if that's how it turns out. But I'm not trusting Ben Shapiro as far as I could throw him, which is actually probably fairly far, so I should use a different analogy for that. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and start this video. Love you all watching and hope you all have a good rest of your day after you're done with this video. If you don't watch the video to your end, I hope you have a bad day.
Please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out the position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem. The price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination.
Okay, maybe it's just me who's able to like decipher Bidenese and be able to like actually articulate what he's saying here, but I think this is not bad, right? Like he talks about where he was born, talks about current immediate policy positions, he talks about how he doesn't want like corporate greed to overtake the government and companies, like that's not already happened already, but he at least talks about real actual concerns people might have. He talked about fucking Trump literally saying inject bleach into your arm, which is an insane, like it's like I don't know. I don't think this is too bad, but at least it's not done yet. A few of the things, like a few of the parts when he's literally like he can't even. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I was left with corporate greed is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for a insulin shot.
Oh, oh, what the fuck is that, dude? What the fuck is that? I've never seen an old person do that before. I don't know what type of like cognitive like disability in there you have to like just randomly start just like Like literally, like it like hurts. It feels like to even continue speaking. Like it shows that he is not really fully there in any sort of like capacity or mental capacity in some points. Um, he's definitely saying some of the right things though, and I do think that he is a useful, good. I mean, as much as a president itself can really be, they're not. I don't know. Not Sigma.
as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning
All the
next year.
drugs.
And the situation is and we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price of around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you. President Trump?
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time
You mean when we did, we immediately said that it wasn't actually that big of a deal, and then we immediately shut off any amount of import or trade from certain brown countries first, but not white countries. And then when we were immediately called out by it for being xenophobic, we started saying that it was actually because it was really a Chinese virus experiment that was done in this lab that was specifically made to kill Americans, and that's why so many Americans died from it specifically, and not our own fucking ignorance this entire time. Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, let's remake history. Let's remake history. Let's actually just like fuck it, bro. Like, it's cool. History books aren't out about it yet, so we can really just say whatever, right? Oh, fuck, I muted it.
economy, a lot of credit for the military and no wars and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates.
Who
That
got
was a
you in the
disaster for our
COVID
country,
mess?
but other than that,
Who
we
got
have-
you
we
in
have
the
given
COVID
them
mess?
a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, that bounce back from the COVID. He has not.
I just want to. I heard this point a few times too when I first watched like highlights of the debate. I just want to like think about that, especially when we're talking about broader economic scale. The notion that it's like, oh, the only jobs he makes for this guy are for illegal immigrants. Like, can anybody ever name a job that literally only hires illegal immigrants? Like, literally. Like, and if it is, then it probably won't last that long, right? I don't know about the hiring process. But let's say, yeah, every job that Joe Biden made has actually immediately gone to illegal immigrants. Well, one, unemployment is fucking down exponentially lower than his administration, so that's an objective lie. But let's play along with the objective lie. The economy is still way fucking better because obviously, even if they're illegal immigrants, they're still circulating money through the economy, bringing that money back to the government. That money is then being distributed. They're going to fucking Walmart or wherever the fuck CVS, 7-Eleven, giving that money to wherever. That shit is also going back to the government. Like, literally, it's going where it needs to go in the exact same circles it would go if I went, I'm not an illegal immigrant, by the way. If I went to go and fucking shop somewhere, I would do the exact same to the economy. I would do the exact same to how many workers there are. Like, it's not different.
Done a good job. He's done a poor job.
It's only different, actually, because he just thinks that illegal immigrant means brown and that brownie means bad. So, this guy. Actually, this guy also thinks brown means bad, but that guy.
And inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you. President Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the
Yeah, that's not a good start at all. That's not a good fucking start at all. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Literally looking at his fucking notebook right now, man. Like he's just actually trying to remember what he's even trying to like say. That big ass pause. Like he's just not it's just not a strong candidate. Like when I think of a strong candidate, I think of somebody like Mr. Bernie Sanders, the GOAT, and not
largest
this
tax
guy,
cut in
not this
American history,
nigga at all.
$2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began.
Oh, damn. That's only gonna really work for the old heads though, but comparing him to Herbert Hoover is a pretty good, that's a pretty decent one. But the thing is, like, people aren't really gonna understand. I don't know. People know who Herbert Hoover is, but like, do Zoomers know that? I don't think so. I don't think Zoomers care. I don't think most people would even care.
Since Herbert Hoover, the idea that he did something that was significant in the military. When he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that.
Dude, while you're president, a genocide went on. Wait, what? Are we gonna actually like talk? Wait, what? Dude, that's so funny too, dude. These fucking like I swear to God, Democratic presidents, the second that they talk about a Republican president, they actually turn into like this fucking anti-fascist like Nuremberg like lawyer like Jesus Christ, dude. Like obviously your job as the president is to stand idly by as fucking death and destruction happens in other countries. You're doing it. He's did it. The person before him did it. And guess what happened to the person before that too? He also did it. It's not like a crazy unpresidential thing. He should be going for the things that are actually specifically wrong with the shit that he's done. And it's hard sometimes because he doesn't do much. But pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal, for example, would be an amazing idea of how he could bring up something that is immediately, now that Iran is honestly more of a geographic enemy to us, be an issue. We have another nuclear enemy because of Donald Trump. And also because of this motherfucker letting Israel just go ahead and bomb Iranian generals for fun. It doesn't take much for the world to end. It really doesn't. And I actually think that at this point, it's much more like gambling than it hasn't at this point. Because nuclear enemy after nuclear enemy, like death after death, like terrorist group after terrorist group being made, constructed, destroyed, and then reformed by American and American allies and corporations. Thousands of millions dead. And it's we're seeing the breaking point. And I think you're going to even see that here. Because he's literally going to, the guy on the left is literally going to say, we're getting closer to World War III than we've ever been in this country.
When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S.
This is a ridiculous policy. This is actually like a ridiculous fucking policy, dude. This is like actually, dude. I can't even like imagine like people genuinely looking at this and thinking like, oh, I need to like look this shit up. Because I want to like see another person's opinion on this besides my own. Tariffs became a flashpoint in the 2024 presidential campaign as candidate Trump has proposed a new 10% universal tariff on all imports and a 60% tariff on all imports from China, as well as potentially higher imports on EVs from China or across the board. Okay, so this is essentially like immediate isolationist, xenophobic, retarded policy that for some reason it seems like Are we? Is this like just a Trump thing? This looks like just a fucking Trump thing. Well, yeah, that makes sense. He does shit like that all the time. The Republican Party's probably going to go ahead and go on with that. But does he not understand how fucking devastating that would be to the economy? The first thing that this motherfucker says is that the economy is the most important issues for Americans, and then like 7 minutes into the video, we're talking about something that this guy is proposing that everybody can, at least if they think about it for 3 fucking seconds, understands will destroy the economy, will increase inflation by insane metrics, because every single corporation, if they have to then have a high, like literally, if they have to then have pay more to get shit shipped from China than they do in the US, since shit's still being made way cheaper in China, corporations are either going to then move or just raise their prices and continue doing the same thing. So it's not going to change anything besides the price point, which will raise. Fucking
higher.
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cause countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history.
China's not stupid. China genuinely, I believe at this point in staging the economy, because of how much of a fucking superpower they are, I think that they could at least partially get away with like slowly reducing trade to the US because of this policy if it ever got enacted. This policy, genuinely, this policy would slowly start removing the only small like sliver that's connecting China and America and stopping them from eventually going into war in the future. Like that economic connection between the two countries, between the two superpowers, is the reason why we haven't really seen troops in Taiwan, we haven't really seen troops in China, because of them both needing each other for their each other's economies to be stable. But if he does this and each economy becomes independent and probably weaker because of it, then they would probably need that war and conquest to expand the said economy. And that is what Trump's economy would then look like. It would look like a militarist, almost fascist country with no immediate, like, even notion of democracy upholding it. Like, I genuinely believe that if Trump got what he want and Project 2025 went well, there would be, within the next 10 years, not anything like the democracy we have now. And as we're talking about this, as we're going about this, dude, and also again, why the fuck is Biden not hitting this, dude? Why is Biden not hitting this button? Why is Biden not hitting the "you are going to destroy the economy, what the fuck are you doing" button? He's just sitting there, like, side-eyeing him. It looks like he's staring off into space more than toward anybody. And it's just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't even think he engages with anything that he says.
Regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs, and the jobs went down, and then they bounced back. And he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. Now he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months, and then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst.
You heard it first. Almost no inflation. There was literally no inflation under Trump. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe the world around you. Listen to what he's saying now. What he's saying now is totally true. Keep giving him money. Keep voting for him.
Administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got.
Also, by the way, the difference between Trump's plan and Biden's plan is that Trump didn't actually do Trump's plan. Like, there's literally the exact same thing would have happened if Trump did the pullout in the same way, because it was literally Trump's plan that the Afghanistan pullout went under, and Biden, for one, like, literally, because he's a bipartisan candidate, agreed with it and decided to just go with his plan because he didn't want to have to do anything anyway and wanted to honestly kind of get credit for the thing that his previous position was actually doing. But because Trump sucks, his plan went under and a lot of shit didn't really work out as well. But now, because of the fact that he was trying to like steal that credit in the first place, he can kind of go back, turn back to Biden and be like, "Oh wow, your plan sucks, doesn't it?" Like it's a layup for him because of how bad everything has been going on. Another really funny clip, funny face.
Out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet.
The liquid gold right under our feet, he says. This reminds me of last debate when they were both going back and forth on saying that, okay, well, my webcam unplugged. That is the truth, and that is my truth. Un momento, mi amor. Okay. We're back, guys. Sorry about that. We're chilling.
We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him
the fucking side eye, dude. That's crazy. That side eye is never gonna stop not being funny.
Fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration.
That fucking side eye, dude. That side eye is never gonna stop being funny.
Like to talk about, but he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did.
I'm repeating myself, by the way, and this is gonna. By the way, I'm repeating myself sometimes and like pausing or whatever. This is all gonna be in the long form YouTube video, which is gonna be posted somewhere maybe. But for the, I don't know, I'm just doing that just so for the editing in the future, maybe I can make it a little bit easier if I fuck up on some of the things I'm saying. Trying to get some like TikTok clips, but I can't really think of anything to say.
Most objected to about the vaccine, and he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation.
Like a third world nation, dude.
His election, trying to go after his political.
That's funny too. Like with third world nation already being kind of like a racist, like stereotypical like term anyway that we can just put on any countries that we decide to make smaller on a map because we consider them less important. Like literally. I just can't understand how we can just say that America's like that now because our economy has gotten better because of similar immigration reforms that he's been doing because of him building the wall. Like, dude, literally this entire debate has been two people arguing about which one's better when they're both the fucking same damn near. Like policy position wise, immigration, Israel, fucking I think the only difference, at least in foreign policy wise, is Ukraine. Like it's not really practically to most real like affecting of us each Americans who are living in the city day to day because the shit out there is gonna stay out there most of the time. It's not very like helpful that the fucking person over here is trying to say that he's so different and the other person's so bad, while they're both doing the same thing. And then the other guy, who's absolutely worse still, is saying, oh wow, no, the better one is worse. Like, it's ridiculous, it's fucking doublethink, it's convoluted, it's confusing to be confusing, and both of them at the end of the day are still going to be shills for capitalism and capital and the military industrial complex as a whole. Okay. I fucking keep muting
like
it.
a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage
It's a
he's done to
shame.
our country, and I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get
Literally, I do not think that there has been a single thing that Biden has done that is different, like, meaningfully from how Trump has handled the border. So I think that for him to say that all these people are allowed to come over from these mental institutions or whatever, like, I think that in itself it shows how ineffective Trump's own border policies are, because Biden throughout his presidency has expanded the border wall, has given millions more border security, when the fucking mayor, or not mayor, fucking governor of Texas was damn near threatening to secede from the union over them, over, like, literally over them not wanting to take away and put down their literal migrant children booby traps. He still folded and just said, yeah, no, it's cool, gang. It's cool, gang. It don't matter like that. I didn't know you were chill like that. I love killing migrant children. Like, there's not a difference between the two, because Trump would do the same. Trump would also not do anything if they were setting up migrant children death traps at the border. Trump would also build the wall. Trump would also do like add a fucking bill and support one that would literally give the fucking head of the Department of Immigration, I believe that's the right term, I think it's another department, but it's immigration, whatever, to literally have, if immigration is considered an emergency at this point, which apparently it is now, like, a complete authority to deport anybody who they want. Like, giving this amount of power and consolidating more and more power to these higher up institutions is exactly what Trump would be doing, because that's what he's been essentially saying he's going to do in Project 2025. Anyway,
to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one.
he also, by the way, we just outlined, and I want to have this outlined another time, because whenever Trump's going to argue about debt later, and I hope if people get to this point of the video, they're going to understand, Trump approved 2 times as much national debt during his presidency than Biden did. He does not care about the national debt because nobody cares about the national debt, because that's just how it works. Because America can just do what we do and be in debt while also the richest country at the same time, because it doesn't matter, because we made the banks, because we made the money, because we made whatever the fuck else other colonialist institution allows for us to be able to do this shit. It's fine. We're good. He doesn't care because nobody should care, because it's a talking point that people say when they're trying to get elected, and that's something that people actually care about once they are elected. Right.
Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example,
2 trillion's insane.
we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation
He caught that.
where
Oh, he caught that. Wait. Replay. Listen to this. Look. Trump like perked up when he said 1,000 trillionaires. He's like, oh, I got that. Oh, I know he's stupid. Oh, yeah.
I mean, billionaires in America.
Yeah. He like said.
Example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires.
He got it.
And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers. They've raised $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system.
I don't really have much to say for this guy. I'll let it play, but just for a note, he's really not making much sense sometimes when he's talking. I mean, he's making he's saying the right things, and you can kind of connect together the words that he's saying into a sentence, but he's not independently creating that sentence, and that's kind of an issue for a politician to have.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with
the COVID.
Everything we have to do with
the COVID. Look at that! Look at that! The COVID.
We finally beat Medicare.
Finally beat Medicare. What? What the fuck is going on, dude? Is this guy, is he tweaking? Is he on that fucking Xanax?
Thank you, President Biden.
But dude, Trump's doing, dude, oh my god, this smarmy piece of shit, dude. Look at that fucking face he has, bro. He literally is like looking over at this guy and saying, yeah, dude, you're fucking, I knew it, bro. I knew it, man. I couldn't get you before 4 more years. Your fucking brain is baked, nigga. It's done, bro. It's done. That's so crazy to me, bro. Finally beat Medicare. He went from fucking economy to COVID to taxing the rich to Medicare to literally like unconnected to each other, like completely disconnected sentences. Like, oh my god. Oh my god.
We finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Where's he here the second time?
He's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming
because of course. Because of course. Of course. That's the easiest layup on the planet. It's literally a fucking, like, actual layup on one of those child plastic basketball hoops, like that, literally jumping over your 3-year-old niece and nephew and then landing on that shit, breaking it in half, but making that sweet ass dunk at the end. Like, it's insane because it's literally him just fucking frothing at the mouth and saying random ass shit. I'm surprised he didn't actually say the N-word on accident. Like, I'm surprised he didn't go back to his old 1960s like rhetoric and just start talking about the thugs and why we need to separate them from the good white man. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's insane.
Putting them on Medicare, they're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly.
Dude, when the fuck has Trump cared about Social Security? That's the thing, too. That's the worst fucking part about this. Biden's, like, literally, the fact that Biden is literally tweaking right now makes it so that Trump can just go ahead and lie for as long as he wants and as much as he wants. And nobody's going to be able to contest that because his opponent is currently going through, like, I think he's generally going through the last moments of his life. Like, he's seeing his life flash before his eyes right now. Like, it's insane. Like, he's just gone through all the old talking points, like, oh, COVID, Medicare. Like, what the fuck, dude? Oh my god.
Destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will
So you're saying that this man here is trying to wipe out Social Security by putting people on Social Security. Okay. Jesus Christ.
in the way he finished that sentence, and it's a shame what's happened about Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence.
I think he's genuinely, I'm not gonna lie, in this point, and also it's like this was pretty much like maybe like a stress break a little bit. Did they take a break after this, or did they take the break like I think they take the break like 30 minutes in still. We have a minute in this video still. But I really don't even know what that like fuck up was, dude. But like look how like defeated he looks. Like it's not even 20 minutes in, bro. Like it's actually like no, this was such a bad like this was really bad for the Democratic Party because this was his entire campaign strategy leading up to it. It was a complete like, oh no, I don't care about the polls. I don't care what other Democrats are saying. I don't care what my own party is saying. I don't care what people who are currently in the party listed as Democrats are saying, or even as Republicans are saying. I am going to 100% win this election, and it's going to be so obvious once I go through this debate on who the best or who is most likely to be or who should be president. And it's like, really? Like, this is it? Like, this is your. You had so much time to prep for this. Like, the debate should have been, like, your thing. I don't know.
And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people.
And also him like, dude, he's especially whenever Biden fucks up like that, it gives Trump leeway and damn near permission to go ahead and be like, oh yeah, I'm friends with a lot of people, like more, cool populism. He's just like an uncle guy. He's cool. He has friends. He's just like us. Like, I also like go with an easy layup when it comes to, oh yeah, that's what you meant to say. You wanted to beat Medicare because you're beating Medicare by helping people and putting them on Medicare. It's ridiculous again, and you can really, if you understand these talking points, if you understand the specific issue he's talking about, it's really easy to parse through it and think that this is all kind of like empty words, but it's easy for some of this shit to slide into the normie brain and come in as fact. Like, oh, Biden's trying to meet Medicare because this guy is actually making sense when he's talking, and Biden just talked about COVID randomly.
What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump.
Also, by the way, before Trump gets even, we're gonna let it end it on him. Okay. So, by the way, just because we're talking about like abortion and stuff too, I was kind of like running through in my head just a few reasons, a few underlying, underseating reasons on why people really shouldn't be voting or supporting Trump in any capacity. And I just have to think like the entire precipice of October 7th was because of like how buddy and friendly Trump was with Israel. Like Biden is passively allowing Israel to do what they're doing. Trump would be encouraging and supplying to an insane margin for Israel to actively do the things it wants to do. Like it would be invading Lebanon today, I think, if October 7th happened under Trump's presidency instead of Biden's, because there is a complete, at least from what I've seen during Trump's presidency with how he deals with Israel, a complete zealotry-ish almost fucking fanaticism for Israel, and its support will never end no matter who's picked. But it's absolute like praise and indignation and like complete not indignation, it's not, however, there is a very 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 big difference in the immediate policy positions and immediate things that Trump is allowing to give to Israel versus what Biden is allowing to give to Israel. Trump would not be proposing the Hamas plan like during the while the war is going on. He would never do that because he hates talking or thinking about brown people for long periods of time. Biden at least ended up at least trying to propose the Hamas deal, codering it saying Israeli officials and executives wanted that shit, which they obviously fucking didn't, because at least those guys are all mostly genocidal maniacs. And still, despite all of that, Israel doesn't take the deal. They keep doing whatever the fuck they want, and Biden lets them, which isn't very different. Well, if you made it to this part of the video, I can absolutely say that there is a difference. Oh. 1 second. I'm gonna cut this part out the video. I think Trump absolutely would be a worse president when it comes to Israel. I think he would actively support it in a much more aggressive and colonialist way than we've even seen in past presidencies. I can also actively say that Trump would never be during an active war proposing the Hamas deal like Biden was doing. That shit is actually pretty like surprising for a president to do, is because it's like it's a they're not saying it's the Hamas deal, but it's a 1-to-1 of the Hamas deal. It's an exact 1-to-1 of the exact Hamas deal that I think was proposed like I think 6 months ago. I wonder how many lives would have been saved if they just went ahead and did it. But we're still, not even doing that, and I can't wait to see what the future is gonna hold.
To overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However,
okay, so what Trump's doing here is he sees abortion as his main hot button issue, because abortion is a very, very contentious issue, mostly because it's an issue that both the left and the right solely sometimes like focus on, like prioritize in their voting. I forgot what the word like calling for it, but it's like one of the things where like they will not vote for a president, or if they do not support this, or if they don't support my form of abortion. And many people will not or do not vote for Trump because of his opinions and ideas on abortion and what he did to Roe v. Wade in the first place. But the reason why he's even like closing his eyes like this a little bit, he's like wincing. You can kind of tell with his body language, because he's bracing for the fact that he's both going to have to juggle saying that it was a good thing for Roe v. Wade to get overturned, while also saying that abortion is not something that he's actively going to come for in his next presidency. Because if he said that abortion is something he's actively was going to come for in his next presidency, then he would not win the presidency. And if he said that Roe v. Wade shouldn't have been abolished, then he would lose his own constituency and probably would not win the presidency in the same right. So it's kind of hard to navigate this. It's a little bit of a, do your fuck, don't you're fucked. But we'll see how he does this.
the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion pill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans.
That is an objective lie. Again, because I think Biden is Biden still like recovering? It's been 4 minutes. It's almost been 5. He's still recovering from that fuck up. That's so bad. I swear I haven't seen him talk after that.
Liberals, conservatives, Everybody wanted it back. Religious.
I fucked up earlier in the stream, by the way. I literally was just like sitting there. I'm gonna not edit the video anyway and just leave that in. I don't really care that much. It's fine. I was literally just like tweaking. There is a difference between Trump and Biden, though. I just couldn't think of like an immediate exact example of their policy issues on Israel, because in the same right and capacity, the Joe Biden is also just as responsible for what's going on right now. So it's kind of like a two-way streak.
Leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so,
I think like something like 70% of like people overall were against the abolition of Roe v. Wade, mostly just for the fact that it provided, you know, like abortion, the option for abortion for anybody, anywhere in the United States of America. Because it's pretty obvious to say that just because you live in a red state doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to believe that abortion is bad, and just because you live in a blue state, you're necessarily going to believe that abortion is good. So why then would we have it so that state by state abortion happens or it doesn't happen depending on that? It doesn't really make much sense, and it's actually the opposite of democracy. It's not letting people decide for themselves, and it's making multiple different boxes where you can continually add this like barbaric like standards on people just to subject women into like literally not being able to control on whether they have pests continually infesting and enlarging their body or not. Literally forcing people by threat of fucking felony charges to give birth by the state because, oh, it's fine. Fucking Alabama state legislator said so. It's cool. It's cool.
they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected.
Dude, he's still recovering. He's actually recovering. What the fuck, bro? Do something. Say something. Interrupt him, honestly. Show some balls and interrupt the man. He's talking about abortion right now. This is your method. This is your topic. You can't just, oh my God, he's literally just going to say, if I remember this correctly, he literally just says like, oh yeah, I like Roe v. Wade.
Wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote.
Yeah, Texas is different. Fucking jailing women for miscarriages. Different. Fucking putting people in jail and making 10-year-olds, like, literally forcing 10-year-old fucking kids to give birth, even by the obvious fact that that 10-year-old child will probably not be able to produce a child in themselves without dying. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it's just different. Yeah, it's just cool. Yeah, just people living in this massive ass, one of the biggest states in the country because of this man's actions, just literally have to not get any abortion or have any rights toward their bodily autonomy now. It's fine. It's cool.
Of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe
of the people. Yeah, the people.
I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe.
Okay, so he believes in the exceptions. So why then does it make even in the slightest sense to bring abortion to the states? Because if the states can then say, oh, we don't believe in exceptions, then you're not getting what you want overall in the country. You're making it so that people can even be raped in certain states and still be forced by the state to get an abortion. Like, that's the grounds and that's the method that we're going through too. And even with what the Supreme Court's been doing now, making like laws and like less up for interpretation and subjugation from other like lower departments and stuff, it is literally consolidating more and more power and forcing more and more people to subjugate themselves to this fucking stupid ideology and idea just based off of some fucking religious nonsense. Genuinely nonsense. I'm not saying religion as a whole is nonsense. I respect everybody's religion and hope they all live life and go to heaven or wherever. I just saying it is nonsense to believe that a fucking growing gummy bear inside of a woman is more like valuable or worthy of independence in life than the woman themselves, who is hopefully at that point 18 years old already. 18 years of being on this life, 18 years of experiences things and moving onto this world and like literally growing as a person and developing like traits and capabilities and getting like certain things, like all of that is like cool and up for risk because gummy bear is more important, I guess. Anyway,
believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But
yes, some people don't. Some people don't. Yes, some people don't. And some people happen to be state legislators, and some people happen to be forcing that onto other people who are actively trying to save their own life by getting an abortion. But no, we're just gonna let it happen. We can literally, this man is actively saying there's just some people who think that it's completely okay for this country to have a completely like plausible instance of a woman being raped, and then the baby, like for some reason in the future, whenever it's going to actually come to term, going to kill them, and then them still having to forcibly take the murderous rape baby all the way to term, but or being forced by the state into felony charges to go to jail for almost the rest of your life. Like, what? For murder too, so you're never gonna get a job after that? Like, what? That's normal? That's okay? That's acceptable in this country? Like,
so, and because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected.
Other things, yeah.
The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child.
I swear to fucking God, they really need to let this man talk, because he has not been fucking doing anything or even slightly looking up at his opponent right now, and this is literally just a Trump rally. Like, this is actually a Trump fucking rally. This is a Trump 2024 rally. Like, I don't even know if, like, I have to kind of a little bit be a conspiracy theorist. I think that like CNN could have somehow set this up a little bit just because of like larger Western scares against anti-capitalist motions, and you know how like corporations always side with fascism over socialism, and also plus CNN themselves, I believe, was recently bought up by a much more conservative creator in general. So it's not exactly a one-to-one certain news or politics oriented base at all. But I just actually kind of think that in part it was just the debate being structured as it was, and Joe Biden just crashing out and not being able to fucking fulfill any of the expectations of a president on a debate stage, because right now he is not establishing his position. He is not establishing and contrasting his position from his opponents, and he is not accurately discrediting his opponent's position. And I think all three of those would be very, very helpful in a situation like this, where you're debating somebody who could very possibly take your fucking seat and then go and start a fucking fascist dictatorship and probably jail you and your family. But it's fine, he's gonna fucking die anyway. Hunter Biden might go though. That'd be, dude, literally worst ending, dude. Fucking Trump starts Britannia from Code Geass and then jails Hunter Biden personally just to spite him.
Child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby.
If somebody says, I'm going to put the baby aside and determine what to do with the baby, if your first thought is, holy shit, you're gonna murder that baby, you're insane. you're actually more insane than anything I just said, because I'm just saying I'm gonna do something with the baby, like it was just born, so I'm going to fucking immediately get a birth certificate, or fucking wrap it in a towel, or fucking bring it to its family, or make sure it doesn't have diseases, or make sure it is fully functioning as a baby does, and make sure it's crying. Not murder it immediately. Why is that? It's like he assumes this. He assumes somebody else is saying something, and then runs with that so hard that it's even like he says it so much that it's even hard for people to like discredit him because of how confidently he's saying these things. But if his only evidence for them really having like 10 months or like 9 months and 1 day abortions are like actually, oh, somebody, one Democratic state governor says that in the process of giving birth they take the baby away and decide to do something with the baby, like is that really it? Like, is that actually it? Like, no evidence. Like, no, like, video, no, like, death certificate, no witness, no anything. Just, they said they'll do something with a newborn baby in a hospital. That's the crime that we're going for. That's the problem. Okay. Okay.
What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you.
This country has
President
never been
Biden.
more
It's been
divided
a
on this
terrible
issue.
thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women
Dude, he can barely even fucking muster up a sentence, man.
including a young woman who just was murdered, and
Dude, he's literally. Did he just jump to
he
immigration?
went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses,
What?
brothers and sisters.
What?
It's just
What?
ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it.
Yeah,
And they're trying to
rape
arrest
is
them across
bad.
state lines.
Thank you.
Is that what he's saying? Wait, okay, no, wait, what? That's all they. Wait, what? No, this shit was actually in part. That's crazy. One, whatever the fuck he said was insane. But two, Trump has been talking for 5 minutes interrupted on one question, and then his like rebuttal to any of that is 2 seconds of talking, and then the second he says something contentious, like talking about rape, thank you, you're not talking. Like, no, that's a little, maybe I'm coping. I don't know. That's ridiculous though. He's maybe it's just like that he's not saying. But like, look, dude, you can even like you can even go onto like the thing. Like, when did Trump start talking? Trump has been talking since here. Trump's still been talking. 11 minutes. So he talks from 11 minutes to like 15 or 16 minutes. And Biden talks from 16 minutes to 17 minutes.
About this issue, which frankly they didn't.
Wait, he's still talking.
Everybody wanted brought back.
Wait, he's still talking. Never mind.
And
Topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states.
Never mind. Okay, so it's 11 minutes to 18 minutes, actually.
I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade.
again, this gives it back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's
immigrant coming in. They talk. They were.
Look at the former governor of Virginia. He was willing to do this. He said, "We'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby." Meaning, we'll now.
It's been a terrible thing what you've done.
It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And ridiculous. And they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young.
Okay, never mind. I was coping. I just double checked on the time, and I think it's like 6 minutes for your actual argument and 1 minute rebuttal. You should have way more rebuttal time. I think that's an immediate like thing that will make this a lot easier, because I think it's actually kind of Trump oriented a little bit because of that, because he can Trump in like 5 minutes could say 100 different things about 100 different people, and all of those things could be lies. But in 1 minute, you could not even possibly parse through half of what they said. And in part, also not really saying anything toward one of those like lies or allegations negative toward you does in part kind of seem like an admission a little bit to people, especially during a debate like this. So it's kind of like a little bit shitty that there's not really that much reaction time. But his like what he said, like in-laws rape their nieces or something, not nieces, in-laws rape their in-laws, so, and then they try to arrest them when they cross state lines. And I genuinely don't know what the fuck he's talking about, and I'm serious, I don't understand what the fuck he's saying. I think what he's trying to say is that rape happens, because this is about abortion. This talk was about abortion. He said that rape happens by anybody, including in-laws, including brothers, including sisters, including whatever, and that's more likely, in fact, to happen than any rape from illegal immigrants. And I think that's the notion he was trying to say. But the fact that he stopped the illegal immigrant conversation and didn't even really talk about the example of that woman who he lied about being hurt by an illegal immigrant, Donald Trump did, I believe. He just kind of like skipped along and went to the rape immediately, and then people probably didn't really understand what he was saying. He was also like I'd say it's like half of this shit, like damn near. He was oh, I closed the tab, but he was like stuttering, right? Like he was definitely stuttering. Okay, well, that was it. We're gonna I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on to something else and maybe make another video recording. This is not a live stream, but I do want to be doing live streams in the future. If you guys want to see more content like this, I recommend going to my Twitch, which will have linked to my YouTube channel. And I really hope you guys will drop in and catch one of my live streams in the future. There's going to be more stuff like this, reacting to videos, talking about current events and issues, plus just, having fun with chat. I'll see you guys later, and you all have a good rest of your day.